Pumpkin week. This is such a fun week, okay? This is where we get to be introduced to Mr. Morrison Mole, and this story is honestly hilarious. It is such a fun story. It's such a fun week. It's honestly one of our favorite weeks of the year because the pumpkin house activity is just so charming. It is lovely, and this is where we feature our little yarn pumpkin craft that I will show you in detail at the end of the week. But the pumpkin house, this is a hilarious story of Rudabug thinking his house got eaten by a big worm and wakes up Thumpkin in the middle of the night. And then they eventually find Mr. Morrison Mole eating the insides of Rudabug's dear pumpkin. But he's just this funny character that they meet and become friends with, and then they embrace it, and then the pumpkin becomes Rudabug's new living room. Sister Flame lights it up, and they eat pumpkin seeds and are cozy in their little pumpkin house. And it is so fun. So it is a really sweet story. It's a hilarious story. Morrison is just hilarious, and it's a fun one. It's fun. So Carve a Pumpkin and Mr. Morrison Mole are our songs this week. Mr. Morrison Mole is probably what I would suggest. Oops, sorry, I went way too into frame there. For our circle time. So Mr. Morrison Mole is going to be your circle time song. Carve a Pumpkin, of course, is your table song while you carve a pumpkin. So I would recommend this is for playing and singing along to during your activity, and Mr. Mole is your song for circle time. So I'm going to do a little demonstration for Mr. Mole song. This one, it tends to be a favorite of all the songs, beautiful songs Nathaniel has written. Our 3-year-old, this is her favorite. She loves Mr. Mole. Okay, so Mr. Morrison Mole. He digs under the ground, tunnels all around, eating grubs and making holes. It's Mr. Morrison Mole. And you can kind of have the kids pop out of a hole there. It's fun. They love it. We've also done this where we cover one of our friends with a silk, and we sing the song, and then when it's time for when we say it's Mr. Morrison Mole, they pop out like Mr. Mole. It's really fun. So really fun one with Mr. Mole there. A few little fun hand motions. And then of course, carve a pumpkin for your activity. Pumpkin Play-Doh, similar to our cinnamon clove Play-Doh, but you're going to be adding some pumpkin puree. The recipe is slightly different to balance out the liquid there. With this one, if it's still wet or sticky, just add more flour until you get the right consistency. Depending on which brand of pumpkin puree you choose, the moisture content will vary greatly. So, big tip. Just if it's too wet or too sticky, add more flour. Just continue kneading it in until it becomes the right consistency. I'm almost certain that I will get still questions of, it's too sticky, Miss Lisa. But pumpkin puree varies greatly. So follow this recipe as best you can, but of course, look at what's in front of you. If it's too sticky, add more flour and knead it in until it's a nice texture, all right? Then you have a gluten-free option, of course. And then scooping pumpkins. This is a really fun one. So before pumpkin week, the days before you begin your pumpkin week, a really great time to do a pumpkin patch field trip because you'll want your pumpkins ready. So our day one, our Living Arts Day, our life skill, you'll want to have the tops of these pumpkins already topped, and then let your children scoop out the guts of these pumpkins. Some kids love this, some kids hate it, but it's a really great sensory activity for them to scoop, get those guts out, get those seeds out, and it's just part of childhood. It's so good. So we're scooping pumpkins this day, and then we'll be turning them into our pumpkin houses the next day. So after you scoop that evening or the day before your next lesson, it'll be up to you, the adult, to kind of carve the little windows and a door so that they're ready to decorate. So that is one step that you'll do on your own, kind of between. But so have the top ready for them to scoop, and then have the windows and doors ready before they decorate the next day. Then day 2 are yarn sock pumpkins. These are so sweet, but these are kind of a unique pumpkin, and that's why I want to do a full tutorial for you, because once you get it, they're great, but if you don't really, they have tripped some people up, but I do have some, so I'll do a full tutorial of this afterwards, but I do also have a tip. If you have littler ones, this one is a slightly more advanced handwork skill, and we're kind of, it's a precursor to finger knitting, and there's just some good fine motor developments there. But if they're not ready for that, you can also swap this with an orange version of your yarn apple. So if you'd rather just do that yarn apple activity again with orange yarn, you can create a yarn pumpkin in the same exact way. So if they liked that, if they were starting to get that, you can do that again as another opportunity to build on that skill if you'd rather do that versus introducing some new skills. So just a note there that that is an easy swap. You can use the same materials, but if you can choose which one you'd like to do, because this yarn pumpkin is definitely one of those connection crafts. This is not a child independent craft, and it's not intended to be so. This is one that you will be doing with your children, and will offer you as the adult some great handwork, because that's super valuable too for us as adults to have the time to be working with our hands. So this might be something that you're finishing as your child is playing, so they're going to be seeing you working with your hands, and it's a really, really lovely thing. So approach this yarn sock pumpkin that way, that this is a together craft, not an independent craft, and it's something that you will work on together, and it can be really, really lovely if your child is ready for it. Or you can also just enjoy making this on your own as an adult if you want to, because it's a sweet little autumn decoration. So with all of those things, kind of feel what feels best for you. If you want to just do the kind of apple style, just round and round, if your child is ready to really join you, if you'd rather them just watch you create something with your hands, you can do that as well. And then of course, at the end of this, stay tuned for the full instructions. I did my best here with these photos. So there are instructions here, but again, it's one that can kind of feel, it'll help to see the video. So I'll do that at the end. And then pumpkin muffins is our baking day this week. This is my absolute favorite pumpkin recipe. This can be pumpkin muffins or pumpkin bread. I grew up eating this as pumpkin bread. It was my favorite recipe, but for kids it's easy as a muffin. So if you want to do it in a loaf, it'll take more like 40, 50, 60 minutes to bake. So just note that if you want to do it as a loaf as pumpkin bread, you can. It'll just bake a lot longer. But for a muffin, 15 to 20 minutes, you have your 2 portions here. It is scrumptious. You also have 2 options for using canned pumpkin, or if you want to use fresh pumpkin, you can actually bake half a pumpkin ahead of time and have them scoop the pumpkin, have them mash the pumpkin so that they're really, again, seeing whole to recipe. So just like in their apples, they saw a whole apple go to applesauce, they can see a whole pumpkin get baked into this muffin. So I would really recommend, it's a really great experience for them to see that pumpkin, scoop it, mash it. Your texture and taste profile might be slightly different, but it works really well with either canned pumpkin or fresh pumpkin. So tips are there for either of those. Our morning activity for day 3 is just beeswax crayons. If you would like to suggest some pumpkin themed crayons drawing, you can. But then of course our painting day is the most fun. Our pumpkin houses. These are just absolutely so much fun. So for this, get forage to your desire. Get flowers and leaves and all of these lovely things. We've always used Aquaphor, which I know sounds really funny, just the actual ointment Aquaphor, but it works so well for sticking leaves onto pumpkins. You can also use like beeswax polish if you'd like something a little more natural. It doesn't stick quite as well, but that's what we've all, just thick things that you can just kind of squeeze those leaves into. It's a great temporary adhesive. So let them just create. These are always so beautiful and so much fun with all the foliage, and they just really, their creativity can just really shine.